Hello everybody, welcome back. We're going to make a very quick video, a bit of an overview, what I'm expecting to see, and I suppose that an overall health check, and I'll try and be as quick as I can about it because my 4-year-old's going to a birthday party and everything has to be perfect. And even though it's only 8:30 in the morning, it might as well be party time. Right, so let's get stuck in. So we're looking at Bitcoin to start with on the daily. If we focus, and again, this is what I was trying to assume really the other day. So if we focus just on candle bodies, it is still an uptrend. And yesterday we made an all-time high. That's right, it is an all-time high. People will be thinking of the wicks, and that's fine to think that too. Wicks tell a story, but the candle bodies, more or less, like they set the pace. And so we did have a new all-time high yesterday. We're sort of pulling back from that now. As far as I can tell, I don't really feel like there's that much to be concerned about at this exact level. We did confirm one drive of bearish divergence on the daily, so wherever we go next might be cause for major concern. that's the way I'll be looking at it. The money flow index also trickling down. It's moved up a little bit since yesterday, but generally going down with price action, which is again bearish divergence on volume. So wherever we do go, you know, whether we make a brand new actual mark a new high, which I think that we probably will be doing, to be honest, be ready for some more of this crazy stuff really. So I call them the train dodge. That's what I like to call it, the train dodge of price. So if you're in on positions and you're hoping to ride them to significant all-time highs over this weekend and into next week, just be a little cautious when you're doing that, because we looked on the Patreon last night and to be honest, I felt like I was underperforming a fair bit because I was so tired. But the one takeaway I got from the majority of price action is that, yeah, we're overheated across the board for most of these alts. And that doesn't mean that we're going to come crashing back down and go down into a massive bear market. It just means that they are overheated. They don't really require, they're not asking to be bought. There's no entry points really for them. If anything, you're just looking to get exit points in the short term. Right, so with that, the 4-hourly again has declining volume, but you know, as far as I can see here, this looks to me like a symmetrical triangle formation, which means that a break of the formation should give you the next major direction. That's the sort of vibe that we're in. Probably get this break throughout probably today. We're currently surfing the center of the Bollinger Band, which makes it even more 50-50. Doesn't really know which way it wants to go. Slightly above. The last 4-hourly candle closed above it after having a retest. So the odds are in favor of moving up to the top of the triangle again. So back up to 101. And then if we break from there, you move back up to 103 and hopefully get an extension beyond that. The next thing that you'd be thinking of doing would be like, all right, well, here's the mouth of the formation. If we were to break out of there today, we'd probably be targeting 108 really, and I think that would probably be a good idea to think about limiting or closing positions, because if you do fall back from here and you get what I think is an overdue pullback, we're still looking to target 90 again, and if you hit 90 and respond well to that, then great, but if you don't, you're going to have to take it over to a daily. So we are talking like 108 I think here on Bitcoin, again, you know, move back down here is 96, 21 exponential is 94, and again, if you lose all these areas on a candle body close, you're probably targeting the mid to low 80s. Yeah, I know this sounds like disappointing, but it's not disappointing for most of us. Because I know most of you guys are subscribed to the channel. And so that means you've probably been watching me since we called close to the bottom on this, around 21,000. Boosh! So that's quite good. We're enjoying all of that. That's nice. But for the late entries, yeah, you do have to be a little cautious, really. Let's face it. So let's have a look at Ethereum then. So Ethereum is riddled with bearish divergence all over the place. And yesterday came up to hit this previous local high. So, again, you know, warning signs are present on Ethereum, which is a real shame, because I was hoping for this to break, and it may break. But right now, based on what we see on the daily, it's getting pretty tired. And it's a shame, really, because I wanted to see it get over this level, and it came up to retest it. Now, you know, based on the 4-hourly, we're above all moving averages again. Trend signal as well over here. So we can respond and bounce from any one of these. The first one being the 10 exponential, 3,965, then center of the Bollinger Band, 3,894-ish area. Sail our way back up to the top, and a breakout from here probably, I would imagine, be relatively strong. The weekly is a great weekly. Captain Hindsight kicks in and says, well, there's a Golden Cross retest on the weekly there, all the way down 2,400, bang, all the way up. So that's pretty sweet. Let's have a look at the momentum. It still has further to run if it wants to. So let's have a look at the Bitcoin dominance, which is still sinking lower and lower and lower on the weekly. That's fine. Let's have a look at the daily, which is still below all moving averages, which is fine as well. So it suggests further downside as well. And on the 4 hourly, we had a low, we had a wick low. But we're still below all moving averages, with momentum still dripping down and down and down. We'll look over at the Dixie, which is something I think is worth recognising, that we had a Golden Cross retest on the 4 hourly here, which sometimes is a V-shaped recovery situation. I don't know why I'm talking like this. With a move up into the centre of the Bollinger Band where we're getting rejected from now. So actually that's good. So that looks like it was going to come down next week, and the next areas are going to be between 105, we'll call it, and 104. So further downside on the Dixie. One drive of hidden bullish divergence. And we'll finish with a bit of stock market stuff. So the daily here on the S&P, so this is the US 500, significantly overheated. Last time we came up to this level, what sort of price action did we receive? We saw a little bit of a pullback, then we got some bearish divergence and saw some more significant pullback. Again, this is the US 500, slightly different to the S&P itself, but kind of the same. So I'm looking for pullback across the board, really, and I'm thinking that this might be when the administration change kicks in, that there might be a dump across the board. We call it a buy the rumour, sell the news. So yeah, we're kind of on borrowed time, I think, with stocks really, for what would probably be another one of these washout trades, VUM, or them, or one of these VUM. So we'll see what happens over the next coming months, but even the stock market's not really asking to be bought at this stage. And how could it be, really, when everything's rallied so hard and so fast? I mean, I remember this bear market, and we did these everything bounces, bang, 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 and then we just went crazy and just bought everything, and we've been holding it for the most part. This is like pension plan stuff, I mean long-term positions really. Once we broke out of the triangle, retested it, and up and away. So there's one thing I like about the S&P, which is that it's pretty neat and tidy, and with that comes a degree of predictability really, and we've got so much warning signs across the board on here that we might be looking for a significant pullback and maybe consolidation over a longer period of time. So similar to what we saw this year really, not so much in the stock market but in crypto for instance. So respecting the warning signs as and when we see it, listening to them, and just being careful about them, because if we ignore warning signs, then you've only got yourself to blame. And look, there's nothing wrong with missing a trade, right? So I know some people have got itchy trigger fingers and they sort of really want to get involved right now. Oh, I've missed out so much. I've got to buy more. Oh. And you're like, well, okay, yeah, you might have missed out on this rally or whatever, but there's always going to be more rallies. But you feel worse if you bought a top, for instance, and had to sustain serious pullbacks before you actually made any kind of money. So missing out is better than losing out, and I think that's the one thing I need to try and keep hitting home to everybody. I get DMs every day, lots of people joining the Patreon looking for some kind of sort of a magical guidance to make them millions or whatever, but that's not it. It's really about people who are looking to learn indicators or whatever, looking to learn how to trade, and sort of me pointing them in the right direction about how to go about doing it, or at least how I go about doing it. There's a million ways to trade, and I just have one particular style. And right now, my style is saying, don't buy. That's what it's saying. That's basically what it's saying. It's saying, all right, there is a measured move up to 108 on Bitcoin, but still, even with that, I know you're like, oh, 108 is good, and you would target a good 8% move or thereabouts, but with a potential pullback of like 30% perhaps, maybe maybe significantly more if you're in an altcoin that goes the wrong way. So we are waiting for another move on Bitcoin, definitely, but at the moment in the center of a 50-50 formation, can go either way. I normally would come to expect Saturdays being bullish, but with this decline in volume, I'm not a big fan of it. Let me just see, because this is obviously the Bitstamp volume. Let me just check the Binance volume to see if that's any different. It's the same. So, right, we're more or less looking at the same kind of, I suppose, declining volume and momentum. So if we do push up to 108, brilliant. You got probably what I would consider close to, if not the last move here, before we flip bearish for a little while. And that's not a problem. And look, another thing you've got to understand about trading, and I'm sure most of you do, is it changes. You know, I might be saying this now because this is what it looks like now. 2 weeks from now, or even less than that, a few days from now, the situation may have changed. And once it's changed, we have to change. You've got to adapt. Otherwise, you'll always miss out. You know, it's like, I watched your video a month ago and you said this was going to happen and now you're saying something else. Yeah, because price action changes, everything changes, things change. You know, you also have to change. I don't control price action. Price action controls me. I have to respond to it, which means that I do have to flip my my analysis sometimes. But generally, overall, if you want to see the highest term time frame analysis that I've got, which is still absolutely in play, is the one that's set in stone on the total 2. We'll have a look at this on the weekly. We'll end it like this, because I made this analysis a year ago, over a year ago now, with the first bull market, the first bull run alt season that took place around here. And I said, look, there's a fractal that exists on here, whether or not you believe it or not, there is a fractal. And I'm not talking time-wise, but it matches very closely the rhythm of this price. And so I'm looking at it more in terms of time. And as far as time is concerned, you know, I said this consolidation is likely to end, you know, when it did, and the breakout is going to be good. We may extend this, continue on to the end of December before the next pullback. The point I'm trying to make is whether we pull back now or pull back later, it doesn't really matter. The overall direction is this. So my hodl bags remain. My trading account's more or less flat. There's only a couple of trades left that need to be exited, really. And if they don't do it automatically at the sell orders that I've placed, I may have to go in and intervene and cut them, which is fine. That's just fine. Yeah, sometimes you have to do that. Again, flipping my perspective based around Bitcoin's price action. Right, so I'm going to leave it with you there. There's really nothing much more to say. I've got to get this little kid ready for her party, which doesn't even start till 1 o'clock. But she's got to wear a party dress first thing in the morning. Right, I'll leave it with you there. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.